Coming up on Spartan Sports Report.
MSU hockey travels to Boston College for a top 10 matchup.
The men's basketball team played a pair of exhibition games to prepare for the season.
And the women's soccer team hosted a Big Ten tournament quarterfinal match.
Hello and welcome in to Spartan Sports Report. I'm AJ Evans.
And I'm Ben Shockley. We have a packed Halloween edition of Spartan Sports Report for you today, so let's just get right into it. We've been waiting long enough for it. Let's go to the Breslin Center for men's basketball.
Before the start of the regular season on Monday, the men's basketball team played 2 exhibition games this week at the Breslin Center against Hillsdale College and Tennessee. MSU dominated Hillsdale from start to finish in the first exhibition game. Start off early on in the first half. Here's Tyson Walker getting the three-pointer to go from downtown, followed up by true freshman Cohen Carr spinning, crossing over, getting the tough left-handed finish to go off the glass. And he wasn't done there. Here he is preparing for takeoff, bringing the Breslin Center to its feet with this breakaway slam. He wasn't the only one to do so. Carson Cooper finished with a game-high 13 points, team high for MSU, and he was tied up with Tyson Walker for a team high of 13 points. As MSU defeated Hillsdale 85-43. Michigan State was back on the floor Sunday afternoon for another exhibition game against number 9 ranked Tennessee. The Spartans committed 8 turnovers in the first 8 minutes, going down 17-1 early in the first half, and MSU rallied back in the late stages of the first, led by Malik Hall's 9 points, making it a 3-point game at halftime. Tyson Walker's 17 points in the second half led the way for the Spartans. The senior finished the game with a team-high 22 points. Tennessee held on to a slight lead before A.J. Hogarth's three-pointer with 5 seconds left tied the game at 88 apiece. But on the very next possession, Tennessee guard Jordan Gainey was fouled and made one of his 2 free throws with just under 2 seconds left to seal the game for the Volunteers 89-88. Michigan State opens up its season on Monday, November 6th against James Madison University. Tip-off is set for 8:30 p.m. on BTN.
Michigan State hockey traveled to number 3 Boston College this past week for their first top 10 matchup of the season. Spartan Sports Report's own directors Marin Klein and Elisa Luker have more from Boston on the series.
Thanks, guys. We're here at Cali Rink for a top 10 matchup between Boston College and Michigan State. Boston College took game 1 of the series 6-4, and Michigan State was looking to come back in game 2 to split the series. But it wasn't enough as the Eagles put in 5 goals against the Spartans and ended the game 5-1. Marin, what did you see in this second game?
In the second game, Elisa, the Spartans the score really doesn't, I think, add up to the amount of effort and grit the Spartans put into the second game. They led the Eagles 39-34 in shots, were winning faceoffs, but the Eagles' 20 block shots in night 2 really hurt the Spartans. And looking back at game 1, Michigan State had a few more goals, 2 goals from Carson Dorwart, a goal from Jeremy Davidson, and a very late goal from Red Savage to get them up a little bit more. But Coach Nightingale actually said he thought his team looked a bit better here in this second game. He liked the way they were playing. There was a little bit of miscommunication, and he said that this is why he wanted his team to come play a top opponent like BC, to really get them set up and learn what they need to look for going into Big Ten play. The lone goal on this second game coming from Carson Dorwart. He had a really great series, but the Eagles prevailed to come out with that sweep, and they are the number team 3 in the country, Elisa. They were already a very tough opponent coming in, and the Spartans are going to have to get ready now to face Ohio State in Big Ten play.
Yeah, as you said, the Spartans will now go into Big Ten play next week against Ohio State. Back to you guys on the desk.
The Spartans dropped to number 12 in the USCHO poll and are now 5-3 on the year. They will look to bounce back next weekend as they continue on the road to Columbus.
The first seed women's soccer team hosted the 8th seed Iowa Hawkeyes in the first round of the Big Ten tournament on Sunday. The game was a back-and-forth battle until the 41st minute when Bella Najera passed across the box to Emerson Sargent. Here she is, who scores her 4th goal of the year. Beautiful sequence between the two there. The Spartans held on to the lead going into halftime, and then 4 minutes into the second half, Iowa's Kelly McGroarty scored a header off of a cross from Samantha Carey. And moments later after that, at the 54-minute mark, the corner kick from McGroarty finds Sophia Bush, who netted the game-winning goal for the Iowa Hawkeyes. The Spartans will wait to see where they're selected at large in the NCAA tournament.
The battle for the Paul Bunyan Trophy returned to East Lansing as the number 2 ranked Michigan Wolverines came in to face against Michigan State. Fans from both sides of the historic rivalry flooded the seats in Spartan Stadium, including Spartan students packing the student section. In the first quarter, the Wolverines marched down the field, and after a lengthy drive, running back Blake Corum dove into the end zone for the opening score. Moments later, J.J. McCarthy finds Roman Wilson to extend the lead to 14. McCarthy then fired 2 touchdowns to Colston Loveland, increasing Michigan's lead to 28-0 at the half. The second half was more of the same as Michigan found the end zone twice more. Spartans had a final chance to make a break in the scoreboard as Caton Hauser finally led MSU down the field. Michigan State could not convert on a 4th down, and with one final score, the Wolverines beat the Spartans 49-0 in East Lansing. That's the worst loss in the history of Spartan Stadium. Paul Bunyan stays put in Ann Arbor for the 2nd year in a row. Michigan State football traveled to Minnesota last weekend for the Spartans' first matchup in Minneapolis since 2017. The Green and White started off the game strong, forcing back-to-back fumbles on the first 2 drives, and both of the ensuing MSU drives resulted in field goals by Jonathan Kim. Minnesota would fight back in the second quarter, taking the lead 10-6 going into the half. No points were scored in the third, but in the fourth, a passing touchdown from backup quarterback and true freshman Sam Levitt to Tyrell Henry would bring the Spartans to within 5 points. Another Gopher touchdown and field goal would ultimately result in the 2-win Spartans' 6th loss of the year. MSU will look to send their seniors out with a win this weekend against Nebraska for Senior Day. Kickoff is set for Saturday at 12 p.m. on FS1.
Last week, the men's and women's cross-country squads competed in the Big Ten Championship in Madison, Wisconsin. The men's team competed in the 8K and had 3 juniors place in the top 15, while the entire team finished in the top 75 of runners, as the men's team finished in 3rd place overall. The women's 6K saw all scoring 5 runners in the top 15. Michigan State had 3 juniors and 3 seniors in the top 20 overall, and the Spartans came out on top with their 4th Big Ten championship in the last 5 years. The next meet will be the NCAA Great Lakes Regional on Friday, November 10th.
After back-to-back losses to Minnesota and number 2 ranked Wisconsin, the Michigan State volleyball team looked to get an in-conference win at home against number 13 Penn State. MSU looked to bounce back in front of nearly 3,000 fans. In the first set, the Spartans came out strong, taking a 12-9 lead. After the teams traded points a bit, the Spartans won the first set, capped by a 5-1 run on 2 Penn State errors. In the second and third sets, Penn State flipped the script, as they won both sets commandingly, but the Spartans roared back to life in the 4th set, finding their way as Aaliyah Moore had a huge part with 10 kills and 2 blocks. MSU won the 4th set 25-18, setting up a winner-take-all 5th set, as Neil Okur picked up this huge kill. However, Penn State not going away without a fight. MSU gets the final point, and it goes to official review. After a quick look, the Spartans are awarded that final point, winning 18-16 and winning the match 3-2. It was a huge moment at the Breslin Center as Michigan State picks up their first home win versus Penn State since 2002. I was 1, AJ. The Spartans will continue conference play and take this momentum into Friday's game at home against Maryland.
The Michigan State field hockey team played Ball State on Sunday and celebrated senior night for their last home game. The team got off to a great start, playing well offensively and also keeping the ball within arm's reach. Not even 5 minutes into the game, Ellie Rutherford found Lulu Fulton as she hit the ball in, diving to the ground and pushing it past the Cardinals goalie, Hannah Johnston. And then, about 5 minutes later, Rutherford again secured the second goal of the game after a rebound shot bounced off Johnston's pad, and Rutherford was there to find the back of the net to put the Spartans up 2-0. And despite a slow third quarter, the Spartans picked up the pace a minute into the fourth. The team scored its 3rd goal of the game when Bianca Pisano caught the edge of a ball and was able to sweep it right behind Johnston. The final goal of the game came from Fulton for her 2nd of the day. And here she is gliding her way through the Cardinals defenders and behind Johnston to give MSU a 4-0 shutout, only allowing Ball State 1 shot on goal. The Spartans ended their season with a record of 4-12, sending their seniors off with their final win.
Coming off their first loss of the season, number 16 men's soccer was aiming to finish the regular season with a win against Drake. The Spartans welcomed in the Bulldogs on senior night at DeMartin Stadium. In the first half, the Spartans got a free kick on the right wing, and Jeremy Sharp, look at that ball to Grayson Mercer, heads it in to put MSU up 1-0. The Spartans held off the aggressive Bulldogs for a majority of the first half, But here in the 41st minute, Drake's Dalton Visconti gets one past MSU goalkeeper Zach Kelly to tie the score 1-1. In the second half, MSU found multiple chances to score. They were unable to capitalize on those as the match goes on to end in a 1-1 draw. And despite the draw, this didn't stop the Spartans from celebrating their seniors. Following the game, Jacob Cromer, Elijah Howe, Chase Insko, Vidad Kovac, Grayson Mercer, and Jack Zuge were honored for their careers in green and white. The Spartans finished the regular season at 7-1-7. They received the number 3 seed in the Big Ten tournament and will face Ohio State in the quarterfinal this Friday in East Lansing.
Thank you for watching this week's edition of Spartan Sports Report.
Make sure to check us out on all of our social media accounts below, as well as the Spartan Newsroom website for continued sports coverage.
Thanks again. We'll see you next week, and happy Halloween.